Welcome to Love Life After, where we embark on the beautiful journey of love, life, and resilience. I am Christelle, your host and friend on this exploration. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a cherished member of our family, thank you for being here. On this podcast, we'll share personal tales of triumph, heartache, and the incredible transformation that unfold after every challenge. So grab your favorite glass of wine, cup of tea, or coffee and find a cozy spot and let's dive into this magic of love, life, and everything that happens after the obstacle. And remember, your story is our inspiration, and together we'll navigate this journey ahead.
Baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen, Baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen,
Have you thought about podcasting but unsure on where to start? Well, we use Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout get your show listed in every major podcast platform. You'll get a great looking podcast website, audio player that you could drop into other websites, tools to promote your episodes, and more. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partner. So join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get their message out to the world. So head over to buzzsprouts.com to get started.
a black queen, a black queen.
Welcome back to Love Life After. I am your girl, Christelle. Joining me this week is Miss Cynthia. Okay, so Miss Cynthia is back with us today because Miss Cynthia wants to share some stuff, and then she wanted to talk about this topic that she felt like is really important and it's deep that people need to think about when they're by themselves. So one of the topic is who are you when no one is around?
Yeah, well, it's something that came up because um, when you by yourself, you have that opportunity to have a more intimate relationship with just yourself. Um, what I like about it is that it gives us a platform and an opportunity not to invite anyone in our life at that time. We have no one that we could point fingers at.
Mm-hmm.
We have to basically deal with ourselves.
Right.
So I came up with this idea because I said, you know what? Who am I
Mm-hmm.
when no one is around?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? And I came up with an idea and I said, wait, I once heard someone say,
Mm-hmm.
we have three names. We have our birth name,
Mm-hmm.
we have our name that we gave ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
which is our character, and we have the name that people actually gave to us, how they
Mm-hmm.
look at us.
Okay.
So it's three names. It's your
Mm-hmm.
birth name, the name that you gave yourself,
Mm-hmm. And the name people
and the
give
name
you.
that people,
Hmm.
the way people look at you.
Okay. Write that down.
And what's amazing is that who are you when no one is around has a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with what you're connected to. But for me, it starts with the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And Joyce Myers wrote a book called the Battlefield of the Mind,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you an opportunity to see yourself in the mirror
Mm-hmm.
for who you really are.
Right.
Who are you when no one is around?
Mm-hmm.
And simple things like when you go to the supermarket
Right.
and you come out the store and you take the shopping cart and you don't put it back where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with simple things. Who are
Are
you
you right?
when no one is around? And what's amazing is that it's a time where you really find out
who you really are.
Who you really are.
Mm-hmm.
And where do your peace come from?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about yourself? So a lot of us are stuck. And when we say low self-esteem, how we think of ourselves, how other people view us, it all starts with your mind and how you think.
Right.
So now you find out, you put yourself in a position. What I love about this topic, because you put yourself in a position to not include anyone. So now it's a scary moment, because if you really think about it and you position yourself, you'll begin to see. Like for me, I say, Lord, show me the sin that's in me.
Right, right.
See, we don't really think that we say that we okay, and we don't think that because we are making it on, like they say, eggshells or pins and needles or whatever. But the thing is that if we take a moment to go deep, and for the first time in your life, no one is around, not even the sound of life. Imagine, not even the sound of life is around. You are by yourself. And for the first time, you get a chance to allow your soul to speak to you.
Would that be kind of like the same as when you have your own prayer time? Like,
well, it's different because prayer time is prayer time. It's a time that you're communicating with God.
Right.
But when you're all by yourself and no one is around, it don't have to be prayer time. It can be right here where we are, with no one here, no sound. You're not busy. You're
so
not.
What are you doing?
You're not being
what
a
is
professional.
Your mind thinking? Right.
What is going on with
in your
you?
mind? Right.
But in order for that to happen, everything has to go
silent.
away. So you really have to be by yourself. When I say by yourself, in thought,
right,
in heart, in soul, so that, and believe it or not, things will reveal to you. Things that you wouldn't even think is going to show up.
Right.
Because you have no interruptions.
Correct.
If you walk out of here now and leave me in this place by myself,
what would you do?
What would I do?
Right.
What am I connected to? What makes me happy? What makes me sad? What am I thinking about?
I think about those things a lot. Like, I was my daughter just earlier actually this morning. She was like, "Mom, you all like, why do you always want to help people? Like, even when you're just by yourself, you just want to help somebody. That's why everybody always want to use you." That's what she told me. That's what she feel like people want to use you, or they'll talk about you because you're doing stuff, you're doing too much. And I was like, well, I said, Anaya, if I wasn't here one day, what would you remember about me? What would be something that you will remember? She said, because you always helping people. You're too nice to people. Even when you're not doing anything, you always want to help somebody. And I was like, I said, that's not a bad thing. She was like, she said, yes, it is. She said,
but
it is a bad thing.
She has a point, because I'm going to tell you why. Because remember, we're connected to something. Our energy is connected to something, okay? And sometimes we do what we do because we're not really connected to what's happening in the inside of us.
Okay.
So we act out life itself. We're busy bodies. We do what we have to do, okay? But if you were to take time out with no one around, no interruptions, just for a moment, for maybe a week or two, and just think, you might start to feel what it is that make you do what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You probably never had the opportunity, because being that that's why this subject is so important, because it gives us an opportunity to to find out
think about it.
what is going on with us.
You know what? I do that a lot though. Like I always like every now and then, like once a month, I take a day or two for myself where I detach. I literally detach from the world, where no social media. Beside my kids and stuff in
Mm-hmm.
the house, but no social media, phones off. A lot of the Mondays, that's what I'll do. Because whenever I'm not at work, when I'm not here working, I'll take the time off, and I'll try to like put everything on, try to promote on social media, try to do this, try to do that, and so on. So on days where, once a month, where I think I talked about it too on one of the episodes about just taking time for yourself, where I just turn everything off. Everyone is off. I let my parents and my family know, hey, today I'm doing my taking a day off. So if you call me, I won't answer. But if it's an emergency, just keep calling. Then I
Mm-hmm.
know it's you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when I do that, a lot of the time, I just like take that time to focus on me. Like I'll light candle, play music and dance, and
But
um,
you're busy.
I'm not busy.
No, no, no.
Uh-huh.
When I say you're busy,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that you're not still.
I'm not still. Okay.
See,
I get it.
get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh,
You're not.
I get it.
I understand the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the candles.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the time off.
Mm-hmm.
But you are not still.
Okay.
And what I'm saying about that is this is hard, because now
it is. That is hard.
you're not moving. You're not.
Right.
You're in a place where it's absolutely silence going on. That's how the other thing came about. Okay.
Right.
So now these two topics pushes you in a position where you have to dig deeper. And you can't dig if we're busy.
Right.
If I'm telling you,
that makes sense.
If you close me in here for overnight with nothing, okay, and then you say, okay, that's it. There's nothing in here. No books, no
Right.
TV, no nothing.
Right.
That's when you're gonna find out who you are. Because guess what? You're connected
with yourself.
With yourself.
Correct.
Emotions. Your soul. Your heart.
Right.
What do you think? Who are you? Who are you?
Right.
Because your children say you one thing.
But who are you?
The
to
world
yourself?
say you one thing. Your mother and father gave you a name.
Right.
But who are you
to you?
To yourself.
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
Your husband say you one thing. But who are you to you?
Well, to me, like if someone asked me, who are you to you, or who are you to yourself? Thinking about that now, like my answer at the moment, like before this conversation, like I probably would just say I'm me, like I'm who I want to be, like I'm Christelle. That's who I am. But now that I'm thinking deeper into it, like I honestly, I think I have to like rethink about that. I have to actually focus. I'm actually gonna try that.
Because you know what I found out when I put myself in that position? Tears just came down from nowhere.
Yeah.
Because finally, and I have finally took the time out and silenced the world and be still and get connected to myself. And that's how people find out that they've been hurting for a long time.
With the I remember like talking. I was talking about because I don't know if did I tell you about the sexual assault thing?
No.
Okay, well I talked about it with a lot of people. So I blocked that off for so long, because it happened when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was working on it with a therapy for like, it has been like over a little 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my goals for doing the podcast was for me to be able to talk about that on the podcast, thinking if I were to talk about it on the podcast, then it will probably help, around other women,
Mm-hmm.
that it will help me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wanted to talk about it for so long but I could never find the word to start talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
because I was still I didn't heal from that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my therapist told me, Christelle, write down exactly what it is that you want to talk about, and talk to yourself, but record it so you could listen back to what you said. So one day I was like, you know what, I'm going to do that. But because for so long I didn't want to even say it out loud because I felt ashamed. And I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. So one day, so maybe this kind of like can kind of lead to being alone. Um, I stay home, um, where I prayed. I prayed about it. I was like, why do I always feel like this, or why? And then I, kind of evaluate my relationship with other people, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is the reason why I have this type of relationship with different people, because my mind is always to like help somebody and making sure that they don't go through, or just trying to like find out if have they gone through the same thing that I've gone through, and they just don't want to talk to
Mm-hmm.
anybody about it,
Mm-hmm.
or they actually like that, or they actually being truthful, or can I trust this person, is this person honest, because I was never honest with myself. I was for so long, even in my adult life, up until like even to my husband. Yeah, my husband knew a little bit about it, but he never actually, we never talked about it. He knew
Mm-hmm.
what happened,
Mm-hmm.
but we never talked about it,
Mm-hmm.
after just saying, hey, this happened. And it was like, okay, wow, like, wow, I'm sorry you went through that. But we never actually had like a conversation about it
Mm-hmm.
until when my therapist was like, Christelle, you need to like do this to yourself so you can heal from it. In order for me to heal, that I had to actually accept that all that stuff happened, um, and then heal from it. So one day I took the time to myself. I sat on the bed. I started writing my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts down. But it
Mm-hmm.
was just me. No one was in the house. I started writing my thoughts down. And I'm like, wow, like, thinking it and saying it out loud and actually seeing it, it put so much in perspective. And I was like, I can't believe I've been holding this inside my heart for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I started asking myself, like, why did I do that? And I said, I wouldn't want this to happen to my child, and I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want my child to go through something like this
Mm-hmm.
and think it's okay to hold it in for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I said, you know what, I can't do this to myself. I have to put this out, and then I have to. So when you started saying like, who are you? Like, honestly, I still like, even now, I don't know exactly. I don't know who I am. I don't think I know who I am, because I was defined like I put myself in a category where I was, yes, this happened to me. I didn't heal from it, so I'm just gonna like stay in that position, like that box that I've been in for so long, but I don't want to like get out that box. I don't want to. Yeah, I created this platform to share my story, but I was never sharing those stories to any, like, none of the female that I was talking, none of them knew. And for 3 years, I wanted to like talk to them. Like, I wanted to be like, oh my God, this happened to me when I was this age. I didn't heal from it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do I heal? Where do I find that from? And I net like, up until even talking to my therapist, I was like, yeah, she helped me finally get it out and to accept that it happened and to move on, and to, I had to like reach out to people and get apologies. Because I felt robbed. I felt robbed out of, even my relationship with my husband. And that was one of the reasons why me and my husband went through what we did, like,
Mm-hmm.
with our
with everything that happened within our marriage, I feel like it has so much to do with it. But now that I understood what happened, and I understood that, okay, Christelle, in order for you to like build a better relationship for you, you have to heal from what happened. So now I'm still, like I said, I'm still healing because I'm not done with my healing process. But I want to be able to like finally say, this is me, this is who I am. And that's what I'm gonna start doing now. Like when you sent me that, I said, okay, I was like, who are you? But I didn't really think deep into it. And then you sent the second message. It was like, who are you when you're silent? And I was like, okay, like what? But up until when you started saying, because remember I just said I'm sitting down. I took the day off. I'm literally sitting and playing music, lighting candle, relaxing, but I'm still busy. I'm still busy in that. So I have so now I need to find who I am in order for me to like really move on from that situation.
And just be aware that
Right.
it is a process. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
process.
I definitely know that now.
And actually, be honest with you, the benefit of it, the great thing about it is that it leads you in the direction of the lifestyle that you want.
Right.
But it starts from it really starts from who you are, and it's connected to all of this. The things that has happened to us, the things that our mothers taught us, the things that our fathers taught us, your culture, all of these things
Are connected.
But we don't find out until everything
stops. Right. Right. And that's
so
true.
it's not about it's really not. When you really think about it, what's the beauty of it all? Because I said, wow, it wasn't until I finally became alone. One day I was in my prayer closet, and after praying, you should never jump up and just start doing things.
Right.
You should be still, because that's that time that the Holy Spirit can minister
really
to you.
Okay.
And I was crying, Christelle, because I said, Lord, you're so good, but I'm thinking about my mom, and she died when I was 3 months old, and I never understood why. How could this happen? And this for just because I was alone, and I was everything, but I was by myself. The only thing that I could do was I have her high school suit that she graduated in. All I could do was take her suit, and guess what? I wrapped it around me, and I laid on the floor, and I did one hard cry. That would have never happened. Never happened if I had not positioned myself to be still. And that's why the word said, be still and know that I'm God. I always wondered, what kind of stillness is he talking about? But you can't be still and do things at the same time and be busy. And I think the problem is with us is that we're afraid that if we let ourselves be in that position to find out who we are, that it will really affect us, even if it's just for that moment.
Right.
A lot of us are very emotional, but people don't believe that because they haven't been still enough. No, somebody's always in your face. Things are going on. How do you know what you're connected to? How do you really know that?
Right.
When you haven't even positioned yourself or gave yourself opportunity.
How do you know who you're connected to?
How do you know? Nothing happens. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people are sick mentally. And they're sicker even than people that have had situations that happen to them. They're sicker than you. And the reason why is because, and you think about it, when you go to bed at night, why is it that your mind is still going? But you trying to go to sleep, but your mind is still going. And I ask, and you say to yourself, well, the Bible talks about the peace that the world can't take away, and the peace that surpasses all understanding. So how do you get to that kind of level that God is saying, I'm going to give you the peace that surpasses, which means way out there.
Right.
Passing. That peace, where do you get that from? You can't get it if you don't know who you are.
Right.
Because it begins with you. Yeah. So when you think about the names that we talked about, you have your birth name.
Right. The name your mom, the name you give yourself.
No, your birth name is the name that your parents gave you. You had nothing to do with that name.
Right.
The second name is the name that you gave yourself.
Right.
And that's that name that you gave yourself.
Right.
Okay. That's that name that comes with the character that you are.
Right.
The things that you built. And the things that is connected to us. Things that have happened to us that we believe.
Right.
Okay. And then you have that name that the world gave you. How the world is looking at you. How do they look at you? Right. What are they saying? So you got these 3 different names that you don't take time to think about, because you don't have time to, because you're not by yourself. But when you think about it, you ask yourself, I got all these names. And they do matter, but they only matter whenever you get to know who you are.
You are, right. That's deep.
I told you, to be honest
right.
with you, it gave me a headache.
Right. So would you say that you know who you are now?
I would say this. I would say that I'm a work in progress. But I have opened the door to stillness that I'm not afraid of. I have no fear for it. Have I found out a lot about myself? Yes. But it wasn't until I stopped everything. And I found out, I found out some things about me that needed work.
Right.
Some things that needed to let go. One thing I found out is on this journey of life, it's not about me making it and being successful. It's about, how did you do it?
Right.
What tools did you use to do it? So it made me think and say, I did some good things and I did some bad things.
Right.
And I did some things I'm not proud of. But it wasn't until I got by myself, it came to me, because I've been busy and doing things. And when you're doing things, you're covering stuff up. You're masking. You're putting on a mask.
Right.
You don't want your friends to know what happened, so you put on a mask. But when you get by yourself, them thoughts come.
I wish Keisha would have been here for this episode, because her and I had a conversation where she, for a long time, like back in the day, where she was like, Christelle, like, you need to change some things. Like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And when I thought about that, like, after, later on, and I was like, I understand why she said that now. Because I feel like sometimes I do things because I want to please myself. Because I felt like certain things that I was doing, like when I'm around other people, I was doing it for them, but not for me. So I remember she was like, girl, you gotta cut that out. And I was like, what do you mean? But it wasn't until I later where I was like, you know what, she's right, because I wasn't doing none of those things for me because I was doing it for other stuff. And that, I guess that's why I was like, I can't honestly say I know who I really am now,
because
and that's
because
where
when
the
you
healing still.
because when you find out who you really are, and which I
Mhm.
say it's going to take a process, but it's going to give you the peace that
Mhm.
surpasses all understanding. You don't have to do all these extra
Right.
things no more
Mhm. Right. Correct.
because you know who you are.
I'm learning that. I guess I'm on the journey of
You on
finding
the
me.
yeah, and
Right.
this is and the great thing about it, I'm so grateful and
Mhm.
thank you. I thank you, Lord. I'm so grateful because as long as we have breath to breathe,
Mhm.
we have opportunity to get on the journey.
Mhm. Yep.
But when you think about it, who are you when no one is around? Go to the deepest part of yourself and say, not even my breath belong to me.
Mhm.
Not even your breath belong to you.
Mhm. Not even where we sleep at night. Cause
You know?
have you ever, you sit and think about it? Cause the only time we're really still is when we're asleep. And that's the only
The
time
only time.
that a lot of people, I mean, I don't know who, I'm speaking for me, but that's the only time that, because I feel like, this is my thoughts. I think that when we sleep, our souls leave us in wonder, but we're just still. We're there, still doing nothing,
Breathing and
breathing
still.
and still. But our
But
soul leaves us.
we have no idea who
Right,
we are.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
We have
And
no idea.
that's exactly what I believe in dreams, because I feel like when I tell you, I've like everything I've dreamed of or said to somebody, it always like, it's like, what in the world? Like, I just dreamed about that. But it's because I feel like my soul like leaves me when I'm asleep. And then it tells me all this stuff while I'm asleep. And then when I get up, of course I'm not still anymore, but those thoughts runs back into my mind.
So
And
so what's amazing is that what you said something that made me think. You said that if someone to ask you who you are, you would say, I'm me, I'm Christelle. But then they may ask another question.
mhm,
Then
who
what
am
are you connected to?
I? Right. Mhm.
Where does your energy go? What are you connected
Mhm.
to? What is your thoughts?
Right.
What is your
Mm.
thoughts?
Like as of now though, like I feel like I honestly believe that I I have a great energy to offer to people. I don't have no ill feeling towards anybody. Like, well, at least I don't think I have any ill feeling towards anybody, and I will hope nobody else have no ill feeling, towards me, or vice versa. So like, but I would like to be connected to everybody. You know what I mean? Like I mean, not necessarily good energy, of course, like positive. And I feel like I attract a lot of great energy around me. Um, and a lot of the time, if I see that this person energy doesn't connect with me, then my whole demeanor changes in that situation. Like if I'm in a room where I feel like their energy is not, I can't pick up on good. Like for example, I was around someone a couple weeks ago, and I'm thinking, hey, everything is great and gravy, everything is good, we're in a good place. And then I turn around, and then the energy, after I turned around, the energy was gone. That energy, because when I turned around, I heard conversations. I wasn't like directly near the person. So, but in my when I turned around and the what I saw, the look I saw, it was like that energy was gone like that. So, and I automatically, okay, I'm not connected to this group of people anymore. Like, and I automatically, my mind shifted. I said, okay. You don't need to be around. You don't need to put yourself in this situation anymore. Whatever that is, like whatever that situation is. Um, so my energy and mood in that room at that time it is gone. And my energy with those people, um I don't think it will ever be the same. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'm at a place where I feel like I don't have to apologize. I used to apologize all the time. I used to like, oh my God, I am so sorry. If someone say I've done something to them, or if someone say, well, not necessarily do anything to them. If someone said, oh, I feel like you shouldn't have done that, or I felt like what you did was wrong. Before I'll be like, okay, I am sorry, girl, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that happened. But now, okay, it's no apologizing. If I did something wrong, if I feel like what I'm doing is for my own good or for your good, and you don't like it, tough. I'm not apologizing anymore for what I say, or I'm not apologizing for how I feel about what I feel in that moment. Because I'm in a place where I don't want no regrets. And I don't have no regrets, because if I had regrets, I wouldn't be where I am today, and which is why I'm on the journey that I am today of healing and trying to find myself. So I'm not putting myself in a situation or near anybody anymore that doesn't have positive energy towards me.
But let me tell you something. I dropped this down when the other day after I had spoken to you, and this came to me. Finding out who you are when no one is around all has to do with what's happening inside of you. What's happening in you.
In you, right, correct.
It has nothing to do with your outer being. Uh and this came to me also. This is something that I learned with being still. This thing with being still and who are you when no one is around. Most people don't want to be in that position. Because you know why?
They don't want to find out who they really are.
Because guess what? Then they have to stop pointing fingers at people. They have to remember that in that moment, my thing was God revealed my sin to me. So they don't want to be in that position because, and I wrote this down. It said, when we are alone and we're by ourselves, it allows us to obtain different emotions that we have not been connected with, because we've been too busy
focusing on other stuff.
And we don't want to position ourselves to find out. And it also allows us not to have control of that at that time of our thoughts. Our thoughts have their way. Can you imagine? Your thoughts having their way because nothing is happening and no one is around. You can't say, talk about your mom. We're not here to talk about your mom. We're not here to talk about your husband. We're not here to talk about your children. We're not here to talk about your professional. We're not here to talk about your friends. We are here
to talk about,
to find out who we are and what we are connected to and why is the effects of our lives. Where is these things coming from?
Right.
Because guess what? When you find out where that peace really supposed to be and where it should be, everything else is going to have to change.
Right, correct.
Because now you have positioned yourself to say, you know what? A yes to my sister could mean a no. And a no to my sister can be a yes. Because now you know who you really are.
Right.
And it's like digging into a bucket.
Right.
And going deep. But you know what I'm saying? And pulling stuff out to find out who you are.
Yeah. Definitely gonna be working on that more.
And it's amazing because, and I'm gonna tell you something. A part of your healing, God made all of us out of His own image.
Fact.
When people do things that ain't right, I want you to remember this because we have parents, we have brothers, we have sisters, we have people all over and around us that do things that ain't right.
Right.
But when people do things that's not right, it's never not the person. It's the spirit that's in them. If you take away the spirit,
right,
you have a good person. You know where that spirit is at? In the mind. And that's why they do what they do.
That's where those thoughts come in.
That's where the thoughts come. If those thoughts didn't come, it would have never happened to you.
Right.
Just think about it. The frame, if you take a person and don't put any bad spirits in them, in their minds,
they have a clear mind.
They have a clear mind.
But when you put that bad spirit in there, well, that spirit period in there, that's where the thoughts come in.
But you, in order for you to forgive yourself, you have to know that it was a spirit in that person.
And you have to know who you are. Yeah.
So that this way, oh my God, why am I praying for someone who hurt me? But the only way that can happen.
That is deep, because I always pray for people who hurt me.
You know, I'm just saying.
Wow.
How do you get to that point? You can, but it won't happen until you get to know who you really are.
Right.
And once you find out, you say, Lord, please forgive that person for what he done to me.
Right.
So that he would never do that to anyone else. Remove that spirit. Because guess what? You haven't made anything bad. Everything that he has made is good.
Right.
But there is a thing called Satan. He is alive and well. Okay? And he ain't to play with. Okay?
Right.
So I'm saying, when you get to know who you are, and you're on that, like you say, you're on that journey, you're on that road of healing. I want you to take time out.
And be still.
And be still. And you're going to find out some things that you never would have thought. But guess what? It's going to give you some joy.
I think we talked about, well, it was a conversation between you and I about finding joy. And then you asked me, do you have joy? And I said, yes. Yeah.
Because you know what? Believe it or not, you have healed in more than one way without knowing.
Right.
Just imagine what you're now digging into yourself. You're not afraid, are you?
Of course
not. And the only reason why I'm asking, because if we had 6 other women here, somebody might walk out of here.
Right. Right.
Somebody may say, you know what, I'm not ready for this.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And that's why we definitely need to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah, well, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
We'll definitely do that. I thank you.
I thank you for the opportunity and for allowing me to once again be on this journey, because it's not an easy journey. It's really not. And a lot of people have been through things and they're not at that level because they can't even be by themselves.
Right.
So how in the world can they share something with you when they can't be by themselves?
Right. Right.
So we're grateful and thankful for this opportunity, and we would like to talk again on this subject.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely tell the girls so we could talk in more deep into it. I just learned so much about me just by listening to this. So I thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you join us next time as we embark on this journey of self discovery, healing, and building connection. Together, we'll explore the depth of love, the complexity of life, and the limitless possibility that await us on the other side of adversity. If you have any questions, comments, or concern, please email us at lovelifeafter18@gmail.com or hit us up on our Instagram at love.lifeafter. We would love to hear from you and hope you let your story become our inspiration. Peace. See you next time.